Those things that have happened to you?
Well, I had one girl, and this again was before I trained, so this is literally somebody who's bought their disc, is doing their own programs, but, you know, keeps meeting people and thinking, can I try and help them? And I went to a social evening, and there was a girl there who, on the Sunday, had fallen into a barbecue and burnt all her arm. And the wound was sort of oozing through the dressing. She was in a great deal of pain. And so that was on Sunday. I saw her on Wednesday at this social thing, and I just said, well, look, you know, it might just help you take the pain away. So I just held the disc on her hand and told her to say that one command.
What do you mean on her hand?
Sorry, not hand, on the burn.
On the burn?
But not touching it because it was too painful, so we just held it sort of away.
So what, you just holding it sort of at, how far away was it?
About half an inch.
Half an inch, okay.
So, you know, it was there. And she said, oh, it feels strange. It was going cool. And I said, well, if your pain was on a dial of, say, 1 to 10, where is it now? This is when we started. And she said it's about 8.5 or 9. It was really painful. Right. And she said it's like a dial being clicked down. She said, and it's gone down. And by the end of the evening, because I'd given her the thing to hold while we carried on with the rest of the evening, it had clicked down to about 3.
So she still had some pain.
And I was disappointed because I thought, oh,
it's not worked.
Didn't fix her. But she went home. She didn't take the disc with her. She gave it back to me and she went home.
This is just one go?
One go,
okay.
yeah, of literally, you know, less than, 10 minutes, I suppose, really, by the time that she was actually doing anything active with it.
But you said that she was holding it
over the actual wound.
How long did that go on for, was she holding it?
Well, it was only probably about 10 minutes altogether, and then she just held it in her hand for about another half an hour.
Okay.
And then she gave it back before we left.
Okay, so let's say 40 minutes altogether, if you include holding the hand. Okay.
And so this was Wednesday. The following Wednesday, we all met again, and she said, I think you need to see something. And she took her cardigan off. Now, all the other people had seen the burn the week before, and this girl was really quite tanned, so she's got lovely tanned skin. And where the burn had been was just white. So it wasn't even pink.
What? How long?
This was 7 days later.
7 days after you
had treated it. No, 7 days before it was wet, it was blistered, it was oozing.
Yeah.
But what had happened, because she told us all there what had happened.
Yeah.
She went home that night and just went straight to bed. She only got up in the evening, sort of go to the toilet, went back to bed. And she did that for 2 days. She just sort of went into this almost deep sleep state and only got out of bed to go to the loo or to have something to eat and then went back to bed. On the third day when she got up, she said that it was itching. The district nurse had arranged to change the dressing for her, and when they took the dressing off, it was completely healed. And I can't explain. I mean, I've worked with people with burns in intensive care. I've worked with people in burns in casualty.
Sound a bit ridiculous.
But in a way, it doesn't, because if you think she went into this deep sleep state, and it was as if all the resources in her body had focused on that part. All the other things that she might have needed were shut down.
But what did the nurse say that took the bandage off?
Well, she just couldn't believe it. I mean, I took photographs of it and things, but they didn't come out very well.
Right.
But literally, and she showed everybody, she was tanned except for this white patch of skin.
And it was just like new skin or something?
Yeah, but it wasn't pink. You know, normally when you have a wound that's healing, the skin would be pink.
Normally scarred.
Yeah, it wasn't puckered, it wasn't scarred or anything.
And have you seen her more recently?
No, I haven't seen her since.
Haven't seen her since. God, wow. And how do other people, when you say that to other people, do they believe you even? Do they believe that happened?
Well, all the people that were there, I mean, from that evening, I went on to do sort of visits to people's houses. They would get people there and to go out and talk to groups and different places.
As a result
of what had happened there, because they were just so blown away. And they couldn't, explain it. I couldn't have explained it.
Right.
But I've got to the stage now where I don't need to explain it.
And this is even before you came on the...
Yeah, well, that was the thing, you see, because then I started using it on everything.
Right.
And the more I pushed the boundaries back, the more it did. And so it was sort of like, whoever came in, their conditions got worse and worse, and I would just see what it would do.
Right.
And it was amazing. And people... I had one little boy who came who'd been bullied at school. And this is after I trained with you, but he came along, he got low self-esteem, and he was actually he had become a bully.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He was sort of he
Often
reacted to this, what had happened to him as a youngster, and he was on the point of being expelled from school. And for an hour and a half, when he sort of connected to this aspect of himself, he just almost became pneumatic, like he got one of those drills. And I kept saying, well, you know, we can stop it if you like. He said, no, it's fine. He said, just this all the
What
thing.
do you mean? What
He was just
shaking his whole body?
Yeah, and then it would just go down one leg and then the other leg. And it was almost as if all these experiences had been stored in some way.
Right.
And once he connected through the disc to this aspect of who he truly is, it just was released. It just went. And afterwards, he was transformed. And I've got so many letters at home. Well, his mom wrote a letter, and she said, "I've got my son back." It was the little boy that she knew he still was, but because of his behaviour, you know, he was becoming more and more difficult. But after this experience, which literally, from start to finish, it was probably 2 hours. He was just himself again.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And he faces situations now as they are, instead of reacting from the experience he had before.
Brilliant. Wow. Yeah, it was worth you coming in, wasn't it? It was a good news. Yeah. Fantastic. Is it okay if we sort of, I think that's a really important, people need to hear that story. Is it okay if we share that with other people? Yeah,
that's fine. And the only other thing I would say is that you don't have to be a therapist to use this.
Oh,
I started with this. It arrived in the post, and you just do what it says, and it stand back and wait for your life to change.
Brilliant. Well, thanks very much for that. Much appreciated. Will you let us know? Will you tell us again some other stories next time?
As long as I don't breach my client confidentiality, yeah.
As long as they've said it's okay.
Yeah.
Brilliant.